What's the haps? I'm Meroka, and today I'm going to be taking a quick look at Divide by Sheep by Bread Team. It's a colourful and whimsical puzzle game, which it kind of gets a bit dark insofar as the name kind of implies, you end up slicing up sheep for mathematical purposes. It's a bit weird like that. Let's have a look at the options menu. We have audio on separate sliders, and parental controls is basically, would you like blood splatters when you slice up your sheep or not? You're still going to be slicing up sheep whether that's on or off, and it's still kind of a little bit grim, but if it is on red, there will be blood splatters when you maneuver chunks of sheep. If it's on blue, you'll just be maneuvering chunks of sheep without the blood splatter. That's kind of what that does. There's no graphical options. This is, I believe, a mobile port, but that's no excuse. There should still be graphical options on PC, for the love of God. There needs to be at least resolution options, so that's kind of not great. Let's have a look at some levels, shall we? Let us jump into some things. We've got a variety of worlds at our disposal. We have a whole bunch of different sections, including the promises of something coming up soon, but so far there are 4 worlds. Each of them has 30 levels, so you got 120 levels to play with there. Let's have a look at some basic stuff. Let's hop in on level 7, shall we? We have islands full of sheepses, and we need to maneuver them around to try and get them to a raft. For reasons to do with the Grim Reaper, the world has become flooded, so I think he's trying to kill them so that he can become friends with them or something, and we don't want them to die, so we must try and get them safely onto the raft in the quantities required at the side. So we can maneuver 1 island's worth of animals to another island, an adjacent island at any given time. If there are too many animals on an island, some will fall in the water and they will drown, and that is not well. That is actually necessary in a lot of instances. You will lose animals in some circumstances. So if we get there we go. Got a raft full of 6, that's the first one. And it's a standard 3-star ranking system. For each of the rafts that you successfully get correctly, you'll basically gain 1 star for the level. So we've got 5 sheep on this island. We could maneuver them to that one. There's too many, so one's going to fall in the water. We need 3 on the next raft. If I get too many on the raft, that's no bueno. We don't want that. So we need 3 sheep. So we're going to have to throw 1 in the drink. Then we can bounce them over there. And there we go. That's a 3. Now, you're looking at this, and you can see there's no way to get a 2. So, to be fair, I'm actually going to fail that level. Nope, they're not happy with that. So if we go back and do that again, we can try and do this in a different way. What we're probably going to want to do is maneuver that one over there, so we've got a nice 2 to keep at the end. What else are we going to want to do? I'm going to maneuver that there. That's there. I don't know if I'm doing this right. I think I might be doing this right. Potentially. That's a 3. I'm not even sure what I'm doing with that 2, actually. What I want to do is get a 3 there. Actually, this one seems like there's multiple ways to solve this level. But there you go, that's a 3. And I've now got 2 options of 2. So, ta-da! You don't need to get all the sheep, you just need to get the required quantities of sheep. So that's straightforward enough. So, head on back to the menu. So you can find some other levels. There are other levels that have a variety of different mechanics. Let's grab this. We have a level with wolves. We must try and get wolves to the island, the raft, because there are wolves. I thought these were rats at first. They're not clearly wolves, but I don't know why rats would be eating sheep. If a wolf occupies the same space as a sheep, it will be consumed, and the wolf will become fat and will be unmaneuverable. You cannot move a wolf that has eaten a sheep. If we restart the level, you can maneuver a wolf that has not eaten a sheep, but if it lands on the same space as sheep, it will eat the sheep and will also become fat. And that's just basically, it locks up part of that. So this is kind of a mechanic that's going to change the number of things that can reach one island. So I could move those 5 there, and there are 5 spaces, so that would be okay. If we go the other way, I could throw those 5 onto that island, but one of them will eat the sheep, and that gives me those 4. They would all go in the water if I did that. I'm not sure immediately offhand what the strategy for this level is. This is one of the later levels, I'm pretty sure. I probably had to give this a bit of thought. I'm going to throw 3 on there. I'm going to throw 3 on there. To be fair, you don't need to get all the stars to progress. You only need to get... You only need 1 of the stars, so as long as you can figure out at least 1 of the rafts, you can move on to the next level. So you can always click the little flag up there to end it early as well. So if I were to say, I don't know if this is the right strategy, but I could move those 3 there. 1 would eat the sheep. Then we can throw the 2 there. That's what they want. Actually, this could work out quite nicely. So there's 5. Actually, this is not going to work out nicely because I've got to get across that 3 island there. So there's no way to get these... There's no way to get these wolves on there. It needs to be done in batches of... To get this last raft, you would need to do it in a batch of at least 3. So I would only get 2 stars for this performance. And, well, there's not enough there. That's no good. That's 2 stars. But there you go. I've done that one before, so it's okay. There's a variety of different mechanics. I think this level, it has the titular divide by sheep mechanic. So we have some lasers. We also have a bouncy pad, which is also another mechanic to demonstrate. If something lands on a bouncy pad, it will bounce in the direction it is shown. There are a lot of bouncy pads that have like 2 arrows, and it will essentially divide the group. So if you fire a group of 4 into a pad that has 2 arrows, it will split it into groups of 2 and 2. If you have an odd number, it's kind of... I'd probably be best to show you if I can find one, but the lights sort of flash in a pattern, and the larger group, if you throw 5, it'll divide into a 3 and a 2, and the 3 will go in the first direction, the 2 will go in the second direction. So it's a good way to manipulate your numbers if you want to get specific groups of things. So for this one, I think we want a singular sheep there. Let's get him onto the raft. What we can do is throw the sheep through there, and yeah, that's messy. So it's the blood splats on the floor that... They will stay there if you have gore on. If you put parental controls, that you will just have halves of sheep, which is still kind of gross, but yeah. So it's the same number of sheep there, and once you get them to the raft, they will be reconstituted with a bit of gaffer tape into whole sheep again, and they count, they're okay. They'll be fine. It's okay, kids. The sheep are okay. But each half of a sheep will now take up 1 square on an island. So this is, I suppose, is where your maths kind of come into things. So if I were to maneuver them over to that island, oh, there's only room for 4 halves of sheep, which is 2 sheep, and guess what, I want 2 sheep on the raft, so let's tape them back together, and everyone's happy, yay! Gaffer tape solves everything. Jeez. Okay, so what we're going to want to do is... probably want this group over there. We're going to lose one of the sheep, because the island's smaller. Throw them through there. Do the same again to get a group of 2. We've got a singular sheep over here. That's fine. There we go, that's a 3. And this particular group, we just want to do that, I think, really. And there's a 2. So, as I say, it's kind of... I think they're going for a maths thing, but I never really kind of find myself thinking about it in a maths problem kind of way. It's kind of weird. So here's one that allows you to split things 2 ways. So let's put the 3 on there. You can see the lights flash, that one and then that one. So the larger groups will go to the right of that. So let's do that. That's going to send the 2 to the first direction, which is to the right, and then the smaller group to the left. So that gives us a 3, which is no good to anyone. So if we do this, it'll split 2 and 1 again. I seem to find that these levels are considerably easier than most of the others, just on the virtue that... you can just keep maneuvering things into places because of the way the mechanics work. You can just keep throwing things at the bouncy pads until you got the right number in the right place. So there we go, there's a 2. Let's do that. Let's maneuver these ones over here. That's a 2. They can go that way, and that one can just go around. And we've still got a 2. I'm going to throw these 4 sheep through there. They're all going to be kind of okay, probably. We can do that to send some... Because we would have the 4 pieces there moving across a 3 island, so that would not be any use to us, so we would have lost a half of a sheep if we went that way. And half a sheep on a raft counts as no sheep. The boatman does not want half sheep. The game never asks you for half sheep, not that I've seen anyway. It's kind of a grim thing to ask for, I would say. So if you get 2 halves of sheep, they will gleefully tape them back together and that's a job done, but if you only have half a sheep, that does not count. You need another half of a sheep on there, please. So there you go. There's something else. We've got, in the different worlds, they keep introducing new mechanics. In the ice world, let's grab that one, I suppose. We have TNT! The game does seem to do a pretty good job of just continually introducing new mechanics to things, so... I want to move them there. The TNT, basically, that island will be destroyed once you leave it. Things can land on it and it's fine, but the moment you leave it, it will be destroyed. So that's kind of the mechanic at play on this particular one. I've done this wrong because I need 3, and I don't have a 3, and I've got no way to separate these sheep. I only have two groups of 2 or a group of 4, which is not really ideal, so you do need to think about this a little. So, because you know what's coming up ahead, you kind of know that what I probably want to do is make a group of 3 there. Is this right? It might be right. No, it's not. I'm trying to think what I would need to do here. Start it over is probably what I want to do. What I want to do... I know. What I think I want to do is move the 5 onto the 4 to lose 1. So we've got a 4 and a 2 that would make a 6. Then I need a 3, which I have, and I have another 3. Yeah, so 4 plus the 2 makes a 6. I've got a group of 3 that can comfortably get to the raft for the next one. And then we have 3 left over. We'll explode off their little islands. And there we go. Just looking at achievements, I'm sure there are... I'm quite certain that as you progress through the worlds, there are still more mechanics to be introduced into the game as we progress along. There's clearly more things going on in this purple world, whatever it is. I think it's some sort of weird, dark, occult world. And then there's like... I'm not even sure what to make of that world. There's weird candy floss trees, and... I don't know. It's all a bit strange. But yeah, the game continually adds these new mechanics, and it does seem to keep it fresh. It keeps introducing these new things from time to time. The green world, as you progress through it, adds like 3 or 4 different mechanics as you keep going, so it does keep things interesting. I'm just, as I say, it's kind of being touted as being a very mathematical thing, and I'm just not getting that. It's an interesting puzzle game, no doubt. I'm still intrigued. I'm intrigued by it from a puzzle perspective. There's some interesting puzzles going on here. But at the same time, I'm not finding myself thinking about it in terms of numbers to any great extent. I'm not thinking of subtracting or dividing numbers or anything. I guess I kind of am working with numbers, but I don't think about it in that context. I don't know if it's being intended as an educational thing. I don't know if it works as an educational thing, but I'm not sure. Anyway, what can I do here? What I would like to do is... maybe maneuver those over there. They're going to eat 3 of the sheep. I don't know what that achieves, though. It doesn't necessarily achieve a lot. I need a group of 2 wolves and a group of 3 wolves. I don't know how I do that. And then I need 2 sheep left over at the end as well. So we move those over there. What does that do for us? Not a lot. Oh, I need 2 wolves, so I can get them. That's fine. So, you know, technically level complete. That's okay. Oh, and then we can maneuver those over there. There's only 2 spaces on that island, so there are 2 sheep left. And we're going to maneuver this pack of wolves onto an island that only has 3 spaces, so we've got 3 wolves there. And they go there. I like that the wolves are pirates. I'm okay with this. I'm very okay with pirate wolves. And 2 sheep completes the level. Ta-da! It's an interesting little title. It's very cute. I don't think there's much more to show you than that. I think I've shown off a lot of the mechanics that I have access to at this moment in time. And as I say, there's still a few more things to keep you intrigued. If you're into puzzle games, this is quite charming. It's not overly complex. I mean, you can see the star ratings I've got. There's only 1 level I actually managed to fail to complete entirely, so... with a little bit of thought, it's not the sort of thing that's going to be overly taxing. If you're looking for something super challenging, I don't know how quickly it ramps up. It may be that later levels get super challenging, but so far I've just found this, you know, pleasantly challenging enough to think about without really being totally stumped on stuff. Plus, the star rating system allowing you to progress as long as you can get 1 of them means you could burn through the game. Even if you weren't determined to, you know, completely 100% max it, you could probably get to the next level on most of the levels fairly comfortably, so there's not really going to be a complete roadblock to progression at any stage. You should always be able to make your way through it. It's an interesting little title. I'm enjoying it. It's quite cool. So this is out now. It is on Steam, available for Windows and Mac, also available on iOS. It is on Steam £3.99 or your regional equivalent, and it is $2.99 on iOS, which... kind of doesn't add up, since I'm pretty sure they're the same thing. I don't think you're getting anything extra on Steam, but they are charging more for it, which doesn't quite sit right with me. I suppose if you have an iOS device, you'd be better served buying it on iOS, because, quite frankly, it is cheaper. However, it is a charming and wonderful title. If you're into puzzle games, I think you could do a lot worse than Divide by Sheep, because it's a lot of fun. I'm not sure who they're aiming at with the audience, because it's a little bit dark with the whole slicing up sheep. If this is intended for kids, I don't know how well kids would like, you know, just throwing around chunks of sheep like that. But there you go. Also, like I say, I'm not sure. From an educational standpoint, I guess you'd have to ask somebody with some background in like teaching tools and things. But for me, I'm not convinced it would work well as a teaching tool. But I could be wrong on that one. Either way, there you go. That is Divide by Sheep. I've been Meroka. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.